Hey guys, it is Kayla Waller with Waller Adventures, and we are in downtown Orlando. Shocker, I know, I'm normally not in a downtown area, especially big like Orlando, but we are here visiting the Orange County Regional History Center. So stick around, check it out. So the History Center is mainly like the History Center for Orange County and like Orlando. So we're going to check it out. Hopefully it has some cool stuff in there. Alright, so you walk up, they got the gators out here. I had a guy sitting on a gator. He wrangling gators, man. It's pretty neat. What does it say? Alligator Sculptures by Craig Eustler. There's a little sign right there. Okay, here's the entrance. This is what it looks like. We are literally downtown Orlando. You can see the buildings back there. So they had a little ball over there. You can see with the fishies in it. But yeah, we are literally downtown Orlando. So like I said, I normally don't really go to like big, huge downtown areas. But we got the History Museum here. And it's raining, so let's go inside and actually, you know, do some learning in this nice, rainy, cold afternoon. Alright, so the lady downstairs told me to start at the 4th floor, and that is the beginning, and work my way down. So discovering a paradise is the beginning. Check out the canoe. In 1981, a West Orange High School student found this canoe in a lake near his home. Oh, that's neat. Look at it, that's pretty cool. Alright, it says Gallery 1, the natural environment, first people, European contact, and the 2 is conquered Seminoles, bold pioneers, driving the cattle, growing sweet citrus. So we're gonna go to 1. Actually, I'm gonna go to Gallery 2 first. There's a school in there. I don't want to interrupt them. Alright. Discovering a paradise. Roofless scrubland or land worth tending. Ask a rancher or a grove owner in the 8 billion citrus industry. Alright, let's go check it out. Adjusting to a new life. Over time, Seminoles grew to rely heavily on manufactured goods such as metal, glass, and cloth they got from white traders. Or you can look in the hole. Please don't let anybody in there. Okay. Don't no jump scares. Look at the dress that she's wearing. That's pretty neat. It says this is a Seminole dress from 1950. Solid colors like this purple fabric became popular in the 1920s. Wow. Wow. Check out the beads. Turtle shell rattles. And then they got tin can rattles. Look at the dolls. It's pretty neat. Fort King, Marion County in north central Florida. That's where all this was found. It says the fort was built in 1827 prior to the Second Seminole War to house soldiers and government agents. So here's all of the The white men are as thick as leaves in the hammock. They come upon us thicker every year. They may shoot us, drive our women and children, or drive our women and child night and day. They may chain our hands and feet, but the red man's heart will always be free. Some in war were fought to win the land, seen in these romanticized paintings. And back in the day, they had to romanticize everything to make it very appealing. License plate is 1935. Oh wow. It says in 1930s, Florida started issuing free license plates to any Seminole who wanted them. Oh, that's neat. Ball game. The ball and stick game. That's neat. Seminoles today, life on the reserves. Yeah, there's reserves in Florida. Florida Seminoles. I think we learned about them at Fort Christmas a little bit too, about the reserves.
On our reservation, land that was set aside for use for Indian tribes, we have the ability and the right to govern. In the beginning, we had no facilities, no buildings, so they would meet under an oak tree, which is still here on the Hollywood Reservation. It was known as the Council Oak.
Bold pioneers settling a subtropic frontier. Talking about the cattling and stuff, like cattle ranchers. Scale model of Fort Christmas. We've been there. I have that video in our Waller Adventures playlist. I'll put it up at the top if you want to check it out. It says the 1823 Treaty of Moultrie Creek forced Seminoles to abandon cattle raising and rely on farming. Left without enough to eat, Seminoles stole cattle from whites. These cattle raids fueled hostilities and in 1835 sparked the bloody 7-year Second Seminole War. Ooh. Living off the land. Oh, look. You got North Carolina. You got Wilmington and Beaufort. Beaufort, North Carolina. Heck yeah, the hometown. So it's showing the British and then Irish coming into Florida. It says Scottish-Irish settlers came to Florida seeking land for herding cattle. It says load your wagon. What resources can you find on the frontier and what should you bring with you? Oh, so there's your wagon. And it shows you like what you have to bring with you to make your wagon not heavy. Coffee, tea and coffee. Honestly, I would probably have to get rid of toys. I'd probably keep some pork. Maybe not tools. I'd probably have to get rid of candy and probably bring meds. What's that one? Clothing and sewing supplies. I might bring that. Oh, this is sugarcane mill. Pioneer life was tough, but we had sweet side too. Oh, look at that. Oh god, it's sugarcane. Cane boils were special social events held annually during the fall sugar cane harvest. They had one of those at Fort Christmas where they had it's like this, where they had the horse mule doing the grinding. But yeah, there's one right there. It's pretty neat. Oh, look at those playing cards. That's pretty sweet. Look at that mess. Those are old. Post hole digger. We kind of still have one of those today. I don't think it's that long. It says wash tub and stand. That's an old wash tub. Look at that. That's awesome. All the other tools they have. Got the kids out here playing. Oh, they're not playing, they're pulling candy. Pulling taffy. It shows you how to make taffy. Water, butter, lemon juice, vanilla, and sugar. And they pull it. They still pull it today. But I guess you sit out on the front porch and pull taffy. It's pretty cool. Oh, we're gonna go in the house now. Oh. So, would Spanish moss make a comfortable bed? Fill the moss in this cracker's mattress to find out. That's not real moss. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's kind of like my blow-up mattress for camping. Dutch oven. Got it right back there. A child's chair right there. Crock pot. Iron is over there. It is right there on the ground. Toasting wire for warming bread. Griddle plate and crane and tea kettle. That's all back there. Got a rifle up there. It's pretty neat. So it talks about meat. If it walked and didn't talk, we ate it. That's what it says. Baked possum. That sounds good. And squirrel soup. like squirrel and dumplings. And this side it says Hanging Betty lamp. Oh, that's neat. An old washboard and everything. Some jugs and candle molds, rolling pin up there at the top. Independent means medicine. Talks about how they make medicine. It says crackers were very superstitious. If a cracker had a fever, he or she wore raw onions on the bottoms of his or her feet. It's kind of like putting thieves on the bottom of your feet. Catnip leaf tea treated indigestion, diarrhea, and bronchitis. Were toothache crackers picked leaves off of the Hercules club tree, crushed and chewed them. Crackers use sea salt for everything. It stopped itching and vomiting, killing parasites, and even froze ice cream. Cool. That's like a squeezer, like for juices and stuff. Crackers and corn. This is their homegrown food, like talking about growing corn and stuff like that. Making grits. Grits are a mix of coarse grounds, water, and butter. I eat grits all the time. Grits are my favorite breakfast item. Every time, go for grits. Every time. So, Ponce de Leon brought cattle to Florida in 1521, and by 1650, the Spanish operated successful cattle ranches using the open range system. Nice. So we've been to Kissimmee, camping there a couple of times. So this is where we are now. So that whole area is like a good, cattle ranching back in the day. If you go to Lake Kissimmee, they've got a cattle rancher there on Saturdays. And you can see the horses and cattle, like we did. These are horn clippers to be horn cows. That's intense. It's pretty neat. Talks about the breed of cattle. They have Florida Longhorns, cracker cattle, are one of the 5 most endangered domestic farm animals in America. Oh, wow. Cattlemen began breeding cracker cows with Brahman bulls during the 1930s to produce a sturdier breed with more meat and milk. Wow. For the cows. During the Civil War, Confederate troops relied on beef from Florida cattle. Oh, wow. To prevent Union troops from stealing cattle intended for Confederate soldiers, a militia of cowmen called the Cow Cavalry patrolled Central Florida. That's neat. No, they did bug baths. Dipping them in the solution. Florida Beef Council napkin showing cattle brands used by some Florida cattle ranchers. I'll check all of them out, man. That's neat. 1915 saddle from the Civil War. Wow. That's pretty neat. It says the split in the center offer good ventilation. I can imagine. Check out this saddle. I think you can probably sit on this saddle. Neat. Tales of Central Florida. Let's see. Story of Bone Trail. How crackers got their name. Let's learn about him. Oh, the fire started.
Now, let me tell you about my old friend Bone Mizell. He was known around the state as a top cowhand back when cattle were big business. His pranks and exploits was legendary.
So apparently, Florida had its own version of the Hatfields and McCoys. It says the Barber and Mizzle feud. A single gunshot shattered the fragile peace in post-Civil War Orange County. The death of the only Orange County sheriff to fall in the line of duty sparks a rash of brutal justice. When the dust settles, as many as 9 people are dead and no one has been charged for the crime. It's one of the most lawless and bloody times in Orange County history. It leaves deep scars in the frontier community. It says this gun shoot the sheriff. According to family lore, this is the gun that murdered Sheriff Dave Mizzle on February 21st, 1870. Yeah, so that is the sheriff that was killed. But yeah. But oh look, you can see like it's split up there at the top. I don't know if that's just... I don't know. Does it say why it's like that? Oh, it says, but did it really? Says the arms company, a Belgium gun exporter, manufactured this shotgun. It patented a double-barrel design in 1881. It says you could buy these guns from Montgomery Ward and Sears catalogs for $15. It says a handsome gun and hold Central Orlando. But it's at least 11 years too young to have slain. So this one is... They don't think that this one is. But yeah, basically it says, story goes, Andrew Jackson Barber fled Florida with old Mose Barber before Sheriff Evans could get its hands on them. Eventually, Jack Barber returned to Florida and passed this gun to his daughter, Susan. Though he told her it was the gun that fired the fatal shot, he didn't say who pulled the trigger. So yeah, so maybe it's the gun. Maybe not, but you can see at the top right there that the barrel split up there. That's pretty intense. Maybe that's just the old age. I don't know. Every time I go to a Florida thing, any Florida museum, they talk about the same stuff. Basically, about the Seminoles and the cattle ranchers and things like that. But I always learn something different every time. I did not know about that. So this section talks about oranges. We kind of covered this at the Florida's Natural Museum, so I'm just going to kind of swing through here. But yeah, it talks about the Great Freeze. They said that at Florida's Natural Museum. But if you want to check out that video, put it up at the top as well if you want to learn more about Florida's natural orange juice. But this is interesting. They didn't have this at the Florida's Natural Museum. Fordson tractor. This model was the first to have rubber tires and could be driven rather than hauled from grove to grove, saving farmers time and money. Look at them tires, look how big they are. Nice. That's pretty neat. Alright, so we're backtracking. It's alright. But check it out. Caution sinkhole area. Let's go to the sinkhole area. There's a lot of sinkholes here. Oh no, we gotta turn the wheel, Florida sits on top of a giant limestone deposit. Sometimes this has disastrous results. It rains a lot in Florida, man. Yep. And then, Oh, look at it. Sinkhole. Talks about blimps. Manatees. There are manatees everywhere here in Florida. I find so many fossils here all the time. A lot of fossils in Florida. It talks about finding the fossils and stuff. The arrowheads back there. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's our early garbage dumps with the shelves. That's pretty neat. It says, what's for dinner? You got eating a deer back there. It says fish bones, deer jaw. Oh, look at that, it's got an arrow inside the deer bone. Wow, turtle shells, gator backbone, gator teeth. That's neat. Got some pottery. Oh, look at the little man back there. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. Got some tools. Needles of deer leg bone were weaving tools or hair ornaments. That's neat. Found in Wekiva State Preserve. Oh wow. 500 BC to 1500 AD. Wow. Look at that. Oh, it says Florida, a shrinking peninsula. Look at it. Wow, it used to be a lot bigger in a day. So all those artifacts are in the middle of the Gulf. Alright, so this section talks about like the lost language of the Native Americans here. So you can come over here and hit. So we're going to do wildlife.
Caramaba.
Turtle.
La tortuga. Itori.
Alligator.
El caimán.
Alright, so we're going to the third floor. This is the floor I really wanted to go to. We'll see why in a second. I'm so excited for this. So this is the courtroom. It says 2 courtrooms. It says when the Orange County Courthouse opened in 1927, this floor contained the building's 2 main courtrooms, grand jury room and law library. There were also offices for judges, clerks, and others. Yeah, this is the original criminal court. So this used to be the courthouse back in the day. It opened in 1927 and it closed in like the 90s. But what is so cool about this courthouse is Ted Bundy was here. And he engraved, well, supposedly engraved his initials where he sat. But yeah, so we're in the courthouse right now. So hopefully we can see where he supposedly did his name. Yeah, so Ted Bundy, known for mass murders, like serial killer. He was killing women up north, came to Florida and did like killed a whole bunch of women at the college, and they had him here. He also got married here during because he represented himself, and it ticked off the judge, but he got married here as well in the middle of his trial. Alright, so here's where the judge sits. And all the tables here, things like that. It says up in smoke in 1999 during renovations. This is the courtroom after the fire in 1999. So yes, all that was like up in smoke back there in the back. This is reading the room. Formerly titled Courtroom B, this room was in operation from the courthouse opening to the public in 1927 and closed in 1998. Talks about the ceilings being so tall. It says the ceilings are so tall because they help manage the room's temperature during hot summer months. That's cool, but that's what the courtroom looked like in 1960. And here we go. I just saw a glimpse of it. Look at it. Look at it. I think I saw a glimpse of it. Where'd it go? I thought I saw it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I see it. I see it. Right there. This is Ted Bundy. That's pretty neat. That's really cool. Hey guys, it is future me. I am looking into the whole Ted Bundy etching his name into the table. So I'm editing the video, and what I said in the beginning is true to a certain extent. So I wanted to come on here and clarify all that for you. So the title of this video and the thumbnail of Ted Bundy in the courthouse, what it says, you know, did he do this with the name? I went to the Orange County Regional History Center believing and thinking that, yeah, he actually did it. This is really cool. You know, the whole 9 yards. Like, yeah, like, I want to film this. This is cool. That was the one and like main reason why I went here to film it for you guys, and also all the other exhibits that were going on as well. But when I went to the little the office part in the front where you get your tickets and stuff like that, I asked the girl, I said, hey, I was like, is the courthouse open so I can look at the Ted Bundy signature? Because I've seen videos where people have gone and actually sat down and there's actually like a plexiglass covering it, and they were actually sitting down, and there's some people where they've like sat on top of it and they're like, it's, you know, here's the name. And then I think the carpetbagger went one time and the courthouse was closed. I think it was during COVID when he went, so or they were doing something, I don't know. But so I asked, I was like, hey, is it open? You know, because I want to see the name. And she was like, yeah, it is. She said, but you know he didn't do that, right? And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, well, maybe that's what they're telling their employees, like, hey, you know, don't tell them, you know, that this is actually, you know, we don't want people in here bombarding the whole, you know, all the time, you know, messing it up, things like that. So I'm just like, well, okay. I was like, well, let me just go there and look and see. And so when you just saw when we walked into the courthouse, I'm like, oh man, this is so excited. You know, it's really eerie in here. Well, it's eerie because it's been around since like 1920s. So it's going to be a little eerie, and who knows how many people have gone through there that have died or like killed people. Who knows at this point. But I went in there and you can see the little plaques. It didn't say anything about Ted Bundy in there. And so I saw the name and I was like, well, it's kind of not really been kept up. You can see Ted, but then you kind of see Bundy's kind of all messed up. And like I said, they used to have a plexiglass over it protecting it. But yeah, so I came home after that, and I called Audrey and told her about it, about the whole Ted Bundy thing. And I said, it's weird. I said, because it's on there, and I've seen where people have gone and, you know, and vetoed it, and was like, oh, this is where, you know, Ted Bundy did this and this and this and this. And I was so excited for it. And I said, but the girl at the front desk said that he didn't do it. And so I actually delved in deeper. So I'm going to tell you exactly, did he do it? So if you pull up Google right here, I typed in Ted Bundy name on table. The first thing that pops up, it says Wikipedia, like Old Orange County Courthouse, Florida. It says defense attorney Julius Africano and Lynn Thompson attempted a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity, but on February 7th, the verdict of guilty was issued. The name Ted Bundy is carved into one of the tables in the historic courtroom. This was definitely not done by Ted Bundy himself. So if you go, if you scroll down, there is one right here, Orlando Magazine. So if you click on Orlando Magazine one, it said, did serial killer Ted Bundy carve his name to the courtroom table during his trial in Orlando. So yes, he did have a trial in Orlando, and it was he was on trial for murdering the 12-year-old girl. Can't remember her name. Kimberly Leach. Yeah, she murdered Lake City middle schooler Kimberly Leach. So he actually was in trial in Orlando at that courthouse. But if you keep reading it, the article done by the newspaper says other argument against the theory of Bundy as a woodcarver comes from one of the men who defended him. Then public defender Len Thompson, now he's in Tallahassee, says Thompson says he doesn't recall he or Bundy ever being in the old building, even for an arrangement. And besides, I sat beside him pretty much the whole time, and I think I would have noticed if he was scratching something into the daggum desk, unquote. And it says security at the courtroom was tight. It's, like he wouldn't have done that. But also, if you read down further, he was not in that courtroom. He was in a different one that does not exist anymore. That is actually torn down. So, yes, he was in Orlando at that courthouse, but he was in a different room. So there was no way that he could have put his name on the table. It even I think the girl even said something about it. Not even they didn't even notice it until the year 2000 that it was there. So also it says so Bundy didn't cut into the table. Who did? It's basically saying someone who was there for a trial for something thought it'd be sneaky and funny and cunning to put Ted Bundy on there because of the history around that courthouse of Ted Bundy being there. So it was more like that. It says, quote, I feel many of them are copycats and investigative reporters at the time, but I think that one or more may have been done by Bundy. So they think Bundy might have done it because it says there has been, like when they would go investigate the cases and stuff, he did put his name on stuff, but they think that a copycat did that because, like I said, one, he was not in that courtroom. Two, how could they have moved that table from the old courthouse? I mean, they could have, maybe, but how could they have moved that table from the old courthouse into there? But like if you look here, it says Perkins, it says, who's Perkins? Perkins is, where's it facing? It says, Mike Perkins, the museum's curator of the exhibits. Not knowing at the time whether the carving was genuine, the museum repaired the damage around this, the name, then installed a protective plexiglass just in case. Yeah, so they weren't even 100% sure that it was him, but they protected it with the plexiglass as a just in case. But it says, he also says, quote, because if it were the case, it's not something we necessarily celebrate, but it'll be a piece of history. Today, when visitors ask about the carving, museum workers tell them it's very unlikely that it was done by him. It's like, so, if he hadn't, so they think that he didn't do it, but he could have done it. So who knows? They're basically telling people that he didn't do it because they're not 100% sure that he did do it. But who knows? So leave a comment and let me know if you think it's legit. If you think he actually did that, or you don't think he did, or you think it's just a copycat. Who knows? So on that note, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So from the courtroom, you can hang a right and you come in here and look at some cool stuff as well. Steamboats and railroads put Central Florida on the map. So this is talking about like the 1800s, 1900s, and like 2000s. Let's see, the St. John's. I've been to the St. John's River a couple times. Went magnet fishing there at one of the little boat docks. How about the steamboats? When we went to Blue Springs State Park, it talks about the steamboats coming up through the St. John's River over there too. Got a steam whistle, look at that. That thing's pretty neat. Trains bring towns into the future. You can see all the railroads, or the trains and stuff, all up in Orlando. Jacksonville, St. Augustine. There's a glare. Let me see if I can get it. There you go. Now you can see something. America's celery capital. Oh, I didn't know that. Sanford. It talks about when the 1894 to 95 freeze destroyed many citrus groves, farmers had to turn to other crops. In Sanford, they planted thousands of acres of celery. Oh, that's cool. Icebox cars sped tons of celery fresh from the fields to markets hundreds of miles away. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know they grew celery here too during that time period. Oh, here we go. Destination Florida, tourism before Disney. The Big D, the Disney. Florida began luring visitors to its semi-tropical playground not long after the end of the Civil War. First by steamship and then railroad. Some of these early tourists came for health reasons. Yep, exactly. So we did a video on the White Sulphur Springs. They're over there by Stephen Foster Folk Culture State Park. Back in the day, people would come here for the natural springs for health reasons. They would go and bathe in the springs, looking to heal, because Native Americans would go into the springs for healing purposes. And so tourists came to Florida for the same reason. They came down here for the springs, the beaches, things like that, before Disney was a thing. Talks about Kia Springs. I said, I'm gonna go there and check that out. I've not been there yet. Talk about the Botanical Gardens of Orlando, Florida. Hand Tourist Camp. In 1920, the Hand Tourist Camp opened in Orlando on a 20-acre site between East South Street and East Central Boulevard. To stay competitive, Harry Hand continually improved the park, adding 12 cabins in 1926, a time when tourists were transitioning away from tents. I mean, we do some tent camping here in Florida. These items represent a typical household items that would have been used by the tin can tourist. See all of that up there. Tourism at their tin cans. It says, yeah, cabins were thrown together at tent camps became like popular in the 30s and 40s. That's pretty cool. Like mom and pop motels as well. Look at the water skis at Cypress Gardens. Talks about them doing the whole water skiing stuff. It opened in 1936. The Botanical Garden near Winter Haven. It says it was one of the largest attractions in Florida at the time. That's pretty cool. But you can see all the skis and stuff from there. Cypress. Is it what says Cypress Gardens? Yeah, Cypress Gardens, Florida. Wow. Oh, look at the stuff down there. That's pretty neat. How's about tourism? The Big Tree Park. Wow, that's pretty neat. Orange Blossom Trail. I was talking about the wigwams, the interior of the Wigwam Village office. Oh, look at that. Midget City. Certainly one of the more unique roadside attractions that enticed tourists in the 50s. Midget City, located on 17 and 92 between Orlando and Sanford. It took 6 years to complete, but it was short-lived. Golf is a big thing here too. Silver Springs. I'm actually going camping there later on this year, so that's gonna be fun. They did the horse racing here as well. Bach Tower, that's still here. That's over there by Lake Kissimmee. There's the springs over there where you can see the mermaids. That's still a thing today. You can go there and see mermaids. I'm gonna go try that. Go over there at some point and check that out. Spring training baseball. My man Gatorland, boy. It opened in 1949. It's still there too. It looks different, but that gator head is still there at the L exit. But yeah, we did a video at Gatorland. Get that, that's pretty neat. Orlando. It's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, it has Disney. There's Disney. Universal, yeah, there's Universal right there. That little ball right there. It's Universal. There's a Citrus Tower over there. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat. There's Gatorland, a big huge gator head right there. It's right there. So this talks about Orlando's Naval Training Center. I didn't know there was a Naval Training Center in Orlando. Yeah, in 1966, the Orlando Air Force Base became the property of the U.S. Navy, which turned it into a training facility for about 30 years. Wow. In 1993, the Department of Defense decided to consolidate all the recruit training to NTC Great Lakes. So it closed the naval training base here. Yeah, you can see all the cool stuff. Well, we are in the Disney section. Oh man, look at all the Disney stuff. That's pretty cool. Some of this looks like new stuff. Like that looks like it came from the Trader Sam's. Look at that plate up there, that's pretty neat. I actually have a Dumbo antenna thing. Back when I used to work at Disney. Oh yeah, this is updated stuff. These are new because that Figment bucket right there is new. Touch the wand to begin. Can you even... Oh. What ag? Okay, you didn't even touch the wand. You just kind of like put your hand there. To build a better mousetrap. Makes sense, makes sense.
Remember, this is before Disney. BB.
BB.
We were up to then primarily
BD, before
rural,
Disney.
agrarian, citrus-based income society.
Wow. Alright, so it says Disney had everything mapped out for Disney World. This sketch done by Walt Disney himself in 1966 shows the location for the park hotels and lakes. That's pretty neat. He got Walt showing Epcot. And it shows building the castle in 1971. It says why Orlando. Location is everything. If you ever wondered why he chose Orlando offered Walt Disney the warm weather that already attracted thousands, plus inland protection from the saltwater and hurricanes. Most importantly, 2 major highways intersected just 15 miles away, providing easy access for even more tourists. Disney bought the land secretly, fearing high prices. If sellers learned of his plans, spotted on a visit here, he even denied his identity. Quote, I get mistaken for him all the time. If I ever run into that SOB, I'm going to tell him what I think of him. Oh, there's one Grand Opening Spaceship Earth at Epcot. Animal Kingdom. Yeah, Animal Kingdom opened in 98. That's neat. It says Ocala's 6-gun territory promised action and entertainment closed in 1984 because it could not compete with Disney. Yep. Disney came in here and took over everything. And that's Fort Wilderness. That's neat. What's it say? The courthouse clock. Oh, it says look closely. There is graffiti written on the inside of the clock face for a time enterprising Orlandians snuck into the clock tower to scribe notes inside the city's most prominent landmark. It says X, and it's between the 10 and 11. You can just make out the initials HS. See the 10. Oh, look at that, and it's got a heart. So you can kind of see it. That's pretty neat. Well, let's go to the second floor. But yeah, once Disney came up to Orlando, changed everything. But then, you know, Universal had to follow suit. Alright, so we're on the second floor. It talks about music. at that. That's neat. I like that little poster. Dead Kennedys. How distant seems our starting place. So this is Central Florida's African American history. It's a story almost 500 years in the making. Discover the story of the region's oldest minority community and see how it has triumphed in spite of the tragedy of the segregated South. So we'll go on this side first and look at this, and then we'll go to the other side. Wow. There's a whole bunch of information in here. It goes back to the Civil War. Talks about the Civil War in Florida. Talks about it says if you lived here in 1850 and you were African American, it lists out like what you'd probably be doing. Talks about black voters, emancipation, compromise of 1877, sharecropping. So Central Florida had little need for slave labor in 1840. Census takers counted no slaves in Mosquito County, which became Orange County 5 years later. Wow. Cotton grew in Central Florida, but a less favorable climate discouraged widespread cotton cultivation and expansion of the institution of slavery. That's interesting. So Florida's plantation belt, they're all up north, in like Tallahassee area, Gainesville, Ocala, Lake City. Oh, it talks about St. Augustine, Fort Moses. Oh yeah. The Spanish rebuilt Fort Moses in 1752, only to abandon it in 1763. When the British took possession of Florida, it says many of the free African Americans at Fort Moses sailed to Cuba. That's pretty neat. Let's see if we hang a left to go to the music side. It says between 1985 and 2001, Figurehead helped transform Orlando's music scene. The company focused on music from the underground rather than producing arena or stadium shows with megastar musicians. Their concerts featuring acts that strayed from the status quo or did not fit so neatly onto the top 40 pop charts contributed to a vibrant musical community that is still talked about today. The prompter is the number one moron because they're risking all the money with the least amount of return. So how does anyone make money in the music industry? Talks about that. What is Henry Rollins College, Rollins Band. It was a pretty bad night. Look at all the posters. That's neat. Wow. Oh, look at all the posters over here. Wow. Lemonheads. Meat puppets. Christmas. Some more of these over here. Toad. The Dead Milkman. Say something. Well, can you take it on and off? Heck yeah. Oh, that don't go there. What's this one? Crowsdale Down. Oh, wow. Figurehead Records. Wow. That's pretty cool. It's an amazing thing happened in our town. Sonic Youth. Sonic Youth. Look at their guitar case. Was owned and used on tour for Sonic Youth. Wow, that's neat. Look at all the it's been through some stuff. There's some really fun times there. Got all these posters and stuff. Cat Power. If you recognize some of these bands, leave a comment about them. Some of them sound familiar to me. Yeah, but if you recognize any of them and like them, leave a comment, let me know. Look at these. That's pretty neat. Smashing Pumpkins, I know them. Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. Rob Thomas is a musician known the world over, but before his rise to fame, his career began in Orlando. His first band was Tabitha's Secret. It's really cool. So a yearbook, 1987 Lake Brantley High School yearbook featuring a young Robert Thomas featured during his freshman year. Let's see if we can find him. Let's go to the T's. Yep, right there, Robert Thomas, right up there. Here, right there. Me right there. Jonathan Richman's influential career has spanned decades. Wow, that's cool. Didn't know Rob Thomas was from Orlando. Sapphire Club. Look at all these cool posters. That's pretty neat. Yeah, it's really cool. So if you're ever in Orlando, go to the Ivanhoe area and go to Rock and Roll Heaven. They're a record store. It's really cool. But if you go into the bathroom, you can see signatures from all of like bands like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC have their signature in the bathroom. So go check that out. But they're really cool. They've been there for a long time, and they got some really cool records. And they got some other cool I think they got like DVDs, VHSs, and things like that, and cassette tapes. But yeah, but whenever you're in Orlando, go visit that record store. It's really neat. It's really, really neat. Alright, so let's go to the first floor. So look at the big, huge polar bears. That's pretty cool. It says Bill Bear and his appliance store. Bears were a familiar sight to Winter Park and Altamont Mall shoppers in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, it shows all of them. It says Beethoven. He was the polar bear. It says Rembrandt, Kodiak bear, bear hangs, the grizzly bear, and Sherbert, polar bear. So I'm guessing that's the Sherbert one. And then that is Beethoven. That's cool. It says all records, tapes at big discounts. Save on car and home stereo. That's pretty neat. Blast off, America's first manned space flight. Wow. You got NASA up in here. Wow. It's got the controls and everything. You know we're going to sit in here. Hold on a second, let me take my bag off. It'll sit in there. This is for some tiny people, man. Oof. Oh my god, oof. Alright, we'll flip you around. Alright. So it got buttons. What's that? I like start video. Oh, there's no button there. It's pretty neat. Wow, it's like being in a spaceship. It talks about it over here on the side. It says Freedom 7 is what this is. It says this is a recreation of the actual Mercury space capsule. It is constructed of plywood, chicken wire, and fiberglass, and it's approximately 90% scale of the actual Freedom 7. Wow. That's neat. Hopefully I can get out of here. Oh my god! Oof. So it's called the Mercury capsule. The Mercury was the first U.S. manned space capsule. Bell-shaped for better aerodynamics, and this is the actual capsule was only about 11 feet 6 inches tall by just over 6 feet wide. The capsule was made of titanium nickel alloy with heat shield on the bottom made of fiberglass reinforced plastic. See, that's how they sat in there like that. The hatch was barely large enough for the astronaut to squeeze through. I barely squeezed through it. See, it says a Mercury recovery system included a parachute. That's neat. All right, that was really, really cool. I learned a whole bunch of new stuff that I didn't know about. I didn't know about the record industry here. I did not know about that at all. That was really cool. I didn't know that Rob Thomas is actually from Orlando, of Matchbox 20. I did not know that. I didn't realize about the African American communities around here either. That was really interesting to read about. I also didn't know about like the naval academy that was here, or like the naval like training base. I didn't know that was here. I didn't know about like the earlier attractions before Disney came here because of traveling and going to like the springs and camping and things like that. But yeah, that was really cool. That was it was really, really interesting place. Learned a lot and saw a lot. So if you're ever in the Orlando area, like downtown, and don't want to go to like the theme parks and stuff, come over here and visit the Orange County Regional History Center and learn about Orlando and learn about Central Florida and how Orlando came to be and all the tourism here. Alright guys, so if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are, we greatly appreciate it. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. It helps our channel grow. We're also on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And below this video, you can check out some of our Wall of Interest merch, like the sweatshirt I got on right now. If you go to the description, there's a link to the merch shop itself, so you can check out our other merch that we have up for sale. If you go to Facebook, you can send us a message to get your very own Wall of Interest koozie or holographic sticker. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Hey guys, it's me again. If you want to subscribe to your channel, click over here. If you want to check out some more videos, click down there. If you want to check out our cool merch shop, go to the description below and click the link. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.